Good morning to all of you. Can you hear me?
Good morning, sir.
Yes, very
Yes,
good
sir.
morning. Yes, very good morning to all of you. As from last two lectures, we are discussing our first short story, that is The Lost Child, written by Mulkaraj Anand. Today is the last phase of our this particular topic. As we have already discussed in the particular story, The Lost Child, it is related with particular child, how he was interested in various things like sweet, like balloon, like flowers, like that music, Snake Charmer's music. And when he lost from his parents, how he lost interest in all the above things and he only want to reunite with his parents. So this is the simple theme, simple story, plot of the story. But on the metaphysical level, on the real level, here the writer wants here the writer wants to tell us that in our day-to-day life, at each and every time, we want several things. Like even today also, just yesterday I received one of the phone call of one student that he told me, sir, I don't have that type of mobile. What can I do? Like that. I told him simply, the device which you have, though it has 2G connection, then also it is possible to hear my lecture or anyone's lecture. But what happened? We are tempted towards this physical world. We always think that the other person, my friend or my relatives, they have like such big devices, such big material things, and I don't have such things. And we feel embarrassed. We feel inferiority complex in us. Ultimately, when we get that particular thing, at that time we realize that we don't need that thing. So that is the really very necessary thing. What is the moral of this story is that we don't need many things. We only attract towards that things. So we have to control ourselves. We have to control our desires. Particularly here, the writer used various visual, oral, olfactoral images. Means the things which related our eyes, which related our mind, which related our ears and our smell. These all things always attracted us. And what happened? We don't need nowadays. We always we are living in the world of pandemic COVID-19. We all are live at our home, stay home, safe home, like that concepts are existed. And if we think now today, then various people they just limited their needs and still they become very happy. Means if the things related with me, I just say truly that from last 6 months, I have not bought a single thing except grocery, fruits and vegetables. Means our needs are very limited. But what happened? Due to this materialistic world, we always attracted towards various things. That's the main aim. That's the main aim of this story. Again, we have second story, the model millionaire, which has exact opposite theme of this story. So first, let's we complete the remaining part of our story. Yesterday, just we saw that how that child came with his parents to that fair, how he was interested in various things like we see that balloon, that insect, that petals, that gulmohar tree, that sweets, etc. In the end, how he forced or he decided to demand towards his father that he want to enjoy that roundabout swing. And suddenly he found that he was lost, he was separated by his parents and his condition. Suddenly his condition became worse. So now we will continue line to line story. Now I will share screen so that you can see directly that story. Having run to and fro in a sheer range of running for a while, he stood defeated. He cries suppressed into sobs. At little distances on the green grass, he could see through his filmy eyes men and women talking. He tried to look intensively among the patches of bright yellow cloths, but there was no sign of his father and mother among these people. In yesterday's point, we just see that how his turban was untied, how his clothes became dirty, how he became panicked, how tears rained down from his ears. So these things explain that how he became panicked. And here we saw that he stood defeated. Means at that point he found himself in such a panic condition that he think that it's really a worse condition in his life. He never think about such conditions. We always think positively. So there is one proverb that think positively, but prepare for the worst also. Hope for the best and prepare for the worst. So here he became just stood there defeated. He tried to look intensively among the that patches of bright yellow clothes, but there was no sign of his father and mother among these people who seemed to laugh and talk just for the sake of laughing and talking. He ran hotly again, this time to a shrine. This time to a shrine to which people seemed to be crowding. So we saw that the people, the crowd, which he liked at the start of story, now he became scared from that crowd. He think that everyone laughed. He think that everyone laughed towards him. And now he just run. He ran towards that shrine. Shrine, one of the temple, where generally the place, religious place where people gather around, worship place we may be called. So there are a lot of people and he goes there to search his father and mother. Every little inch of space here was congested with men, but he ran through people's legs, his little soft lingering. Mother, father, near the entrance of the temple. So at the entrance of the temple, he just searched. He just searched his father and mother, but oh, he can't see him. So he became defeated. However, the crowd became very thick. Men jostled each other, heavy men with flashing, murderous eyes and hefty shoulders. The poor child struggled to carve a way between their feet, but kicked to and fro by their brutal paws. He might have been trampled underfoot had he not shrieked at the highest pitch of his voice, Father, Mother. Just see how in that world of fear. So even if we compare this situation with ourselves, we also realize that in the real world our condition is like the same. There are a lot of things around us, but no one is really with us. No one is really with us. We just only think that all the people are with us. Here the crowd, which he liked before, now there is a possibility that he has been trampled by that crowd with their paws. They just cried, Father, Mother, and a man in the surging crowd heard his groan and stopping him with his great, very great difficulty, lifted him up in his arms. So here we see the last part, denouement of the story, that how that one kind man, he just put that child, lifted him into his arms, particularly that man who was walking back on the same route which the child has taken. So he took the child to just see how that particular man, how he want to soothe that child. These things are generally happen in our world also. Whenever we are in a panic condition, again these things, these various visual images, or we maybe says the worldly pleasures, they again always come with us. They again always tempted us, and we have to control ourselves. That is very important. Just here see that how that particular kind man, kind-hearted man, to soothe the child, though his intention is very good, but how that child lost interest in everything. Just see first, how did you get here, child? Whose baby are you? The man asked as he steered clear of the mask. The child wept more bitterly than ever now and only cried, I want my mother, I want my father. First, he just questioned, examined him, but the child didn't get any reply. He only cried and said that I want my father, I want my mother. The man tried to soothe him by lift him on the man tried to soothe him by taking him up to the roundabout. Will you have a lift on the horses? And he gently asked as he approached the ring. The child's throat tore into a thousand shrill sobs, and he only shouted, I want my father and I want my mother. Just see how, at the middle of the story, how he forcefully, or how he emphasized that he wants to ride into that roundabout swing. But what happens? Now, that kind hearted man, he offered him, but he lost interest from that thing. He lost interest from that roundabout thing, and he only cried, I want my father and my mother. So, again, just remember how the things which today we need, which we think that we can't live without that thing, and our parents don't provide us such types of materialistic things. Actually, they have very little importance. What is the importance? The importance is our relationship with our parents. The basic things, these are very necessary, that we have to remain cool and calm in such type of conditions, because it's the materialistic world and everyone just attract us towards them. But it depends on us what to do, what to not do. We always think to be or not to be. The world famous quotation from Hamlet, written by William Shakespeare, that always in our mind there is a war, there is a struggle between to be or not to be, whether to attend the lecture or not to attend the lecture, whether to hear seriously or just making our presence by logging for that particular lecture. Like that, each and every day there is struggle in our mind to be or not to be. We have to take a decision, a proper firm decision, which have the touch of real condition, which is also related with our basic conditions, with our needs also. What we think here, just the same condition which we see, that how that child refuse which he like, because now at present condition he didn't have any need or any usefulness of that particular thing. So just he cried and he says that I want my father, I want my mother. The man headed towards the place where the juggler still played on the flute. Listen to the nice music, child, he pleaded. But the child shut his ears with his finger and shouted his double pitched scream, I want my mother, I want my father. Look how, first, that roundabout swing, second, that snake charmer's music, that juggler's music. Again, he didn't like that particular music. Why he didn't like that particular music? Because he lost interest from this all worldly pleasure, from all these things. What is important for him? The important for him is to take interest, is to reunite with his father, mother, with his parents. Friends, today's world is like this. There are a lot of things, but what is the more important for us? We have to make a preference list and we have to work hardly on that preferential list. What happens? We always spend our full time on unnecessary things and we give very little time on our important works. And that's why the problem comes. We have a lot of time, no doubt about that. But what we do? We just waste it on unnecessary things related to this materialistic world. There is one essay, The Duties of the Students, written by Swami Vivekananda. He just explained that students have four duties. First, they have to listen about their parents and their teachers. They have to acquire knowledge of everything, about even a small political event, but not directly take part into that political action. Third, to develop the habit of cooperation. And the last one is to develop your character. So these all things are very, very necessary at present day. We have to develop ourselves. We have to develop our character. We have to develop the habit of cooperation. Again, we have to take the knowledge of each and everything. But we have to take the knowledge of each and everything. But what happened? We don't take directly involved in such political or any other issues in our student age. So here, that particular boy, that particular child, now he didn't like, now he didn't like particular, now he didn't like that music and that roundabout swing. The next thing, just we see, the man took him near the balloons, thinking the bright colors of the balls would distract the child's attention and quieten him. Would you like a rainbow colored balloon? He persuasively asked, but the child turned his eyes from the flying balloons and just sobbed, I want my father, I want my mother. The man, still importunate in his kindly desire to make the child happy, bore him to the gate where the flower seller stood. Look, can you smell this nice flower? Child, would you like a garland to put around your neck? The child turned his nose away from the basket and reiterated his sob, I want my mother, I want my father. The counter of the sweet shop. What sweets would you like, child? He asked. The child turned his face from the sweet shop and only sobbed, I want my mother, I want my father, I want my mother, I want my father. Just look, the things, the various visual, oral, and olfactory images. Deliberately here, the writer used such type of images, that burfi, that sweets, which related to our eyes as well as which related to our mind also, which always distract us whenever we see. But now the child, he didn't find himself to take interest in such things. He only wants his father and mother. So in our life, there are such types of various situations that we have to control because what we need, Our needs are different, and what we like, these things are different. So here again, he just want to explain just that man started walking back on the same route which the child had taken, so that there may be possibility that they will reunite with his parents. First, he want to soothe the child. He show him the snake charmer. Then he asked him to listen the nice music played by the snake charmer. But here the child shuts his own ears with his fingers and screamed loudly, "I want my parents, my father and my mother." His here he didn't like that type of oral or temptations related with ears. The man took him to the bright colored balloons, hoping that he might be happy to see that colorful balloon. He offered a balloon to the child, but he turned away and wept for his father and mother. See here again also he didn't like that visual images. It's at that particular moment when the difficult situation comes in our life, we never need such types of thinking. We have to take patience. So here again, just we saw the child turned his nose away from the basket, and he even didn't want to smell the these nice flowers. He only repeat, "I want my mother, I want my father." So these all things it is explained that finally the man took him to the sweet seller and offered to buy sweet for him. The barfi, which is his favorite sweet. The barfi, which is his favorite sweet, and he always liked to eat that barfi. But now at present time, he didn't want it. He cried and he loudly only say, "I want my father, I want my mother, I want my parents." So friends, these things are very necessary that we have to look again realities. We have to control our these all desires. Here the story ends. It is a it is an open-ended story. The writer here he don't tell us that whether the child was reunited with his parents or not. There may be possibility of reunion or not. Why he deliberately leave his story as an open-ended story? Because we have to think what happened if we don't control from these temptations, from these oral, visual, olfactory images, temptations. If we want to control these things, if we want to control these all things, we have to control. Because what happens, such type, just just imagine that if what happened if the child he was not reunited with his parents, with his father and mother. What happened? Just think. So the story, it is very simple story. There are lots of themes. The love between father and child, parents and child. Even there are themes like yeah, there are themes like connection, desire, desire, greediness, connection, the love and bond between parent and their children, kindness, materialism, which is very important, that how we always attract towards this material world, but how it is not necessary, it is not needed at all. This COVID-19 also giving us a very good lesson that we have very limited desires, needs. We only attract towards various things. This particular pandemic COVID-19, it has taught us. that it is easy. It is easy to live happily with our family, with our society, if we have limited needs. And if we have unlimited needs, then what happens? We never become happy in our life. So again, materialism is very important theme. So there are various themes like desire, connection, kindness, materialism, acceptance, desperation, security. So these all things, themes are related to this story. The plot is simple. The outline or surface level theme, we may be right, or we maybe says that it is related with the love and bond connection between parents and child. But in reality, as the writer himself quote the quotation of Guru Nanak, that we all are the lost child in the world of fear. This indirectly the theme is related with every human being, that we lost ourselves in this world, in this materialistic world. We always attract towards these materialistic things, and after some time, what we see, that we are not needy, it is all useless, and what we need, we can't get properly at those stage. So friends, here we have to conclude our short story. We have to end it. Tomorrow or day after tomorrow, I will send PPT related to this particular topic on YouTube and our, if possible, on our WhatsApp group also. After that, we are going to start poem, The Gift of India, written by Sarojini Naidu. So we are going to start our poem, because during these online lectures we have tried to complete one unit, one section from each unit. Means the short story from story section, one poem from poem section, and one essay from essay section. So after that, we are going to learn the poem. I also send the poem on our group also, so that you can read it at your home. Just think about that poem, that how its theme and how the poem is related with our Indians. Just remember this, here our BOS, means the university, they deliberately give us various writers related to Indian English literature, because we have to learn, we have to know the basic things related to literature and Indianness also. So here we conclude The Lost Child. I just repeat few sentences related to Lost Child. The Lost Child, written by Mulkraj Anand, related with the love, bond, connection between parent and child, how the child was demand attracted towards everything, how he lost, how ultimately how he lost from his parents, and ultimately lost interest from all the other visual, oral, and olfactory images. In the same way, and the metaphysical level, we, every human being, how he has lost in the world of fear, how he attracted, get tempted towards many things, and lost their touch with their originality, with their, from their parents, from their creator, from God, from religious thinking, from spirituality, which they have to live. So this is our final conclusion related with our present story, The Lost Child. Yesterday, tomorrow, we are going to start our new story on Monday. Okay, so thanks for everyone for cooperating and listening silently. Thank you, everyone. Goodbye.